Okay, this is a grade 8 video on the 4 different expectations for how to model various types of fractions. So this is your test tomorrow, Friday. Your first question asks you, what is 3/4 times 5 modeled? So when we think about this, if I think about what 3/4 actually looks like, and I took my marker out and actually highlighted 3/4. If I was to ask you, if I took said picture and cloned it, and I used the clone button, that would be doubling it. If I cloned it again, that would be tripling it. If I cloned it again, that's quadrupling it. And if I did it one more time, that would be multiplying it by 5. So if I took 3/4 and multiplied it by 5, the modeling of it would look like this. And the question would be then, how many quarters do I have in total? Since this is a quarter, and those are quarters, how many total quarters are there? Well, there'd be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 quarters. So your answer is 15 over 4. So 15 quarters is your answer as an improper fraction, or as a mixed fraction would be 3 and 3/4. So what is your answer for 3/4 times 5? It's 3 and 3/4. Your second question, 4/5 divided by 3. So if I take my 4/5 and draw it as a rectangle, put 4 lines to make fifths, highlight in 4/5 of it. So there's a picture that shows 4/5 of something. And if I divide that between 3 people, I can cut it twice to make 3 parts, one for me, one for my wife, and one for my son. So 4/5 of something divided between 3 people means that each person will receive, it's now cut into 15 parts, 4 of which are mine. So therefore, your answer is 4/15. Your third question is 1/4 times 3/5. In order to draw this, you have to be able to interpret the multiplication symbol as being the word of. So 1/4 of 3/5. If I draw 3/5, take my, let's do a different color. Let's do 3/5 in green this time. Right? So if I say I am going to get 1/4 of the 3/5, so now I'm going to cut it into quarters. And I'm going to put a check mark here to symbolize 1/4 of the 3/5. So it used to be divided into 5 parts. Now it's divided into 20 parts, 3 of which I get to keep. So if you have 3/5 divided into quarters, a quarter of that would be 3/20. And finally, your last question is a mixed fraction multiplied by a mixed fraction. And for this, we're going to use our area model. So 1.5 is going to be the distance. 1 is going to be the distance from here to here, and 1/2 is going to be the distance from here to here. So 1.5 is the total distance multiplied by 1 3/8. So if we think about the parts A, B, C, and D, if I take all of those individual areas and add them together, so A plus B plus B plus A plus B plus C plus D, that should equal the same thing as the product of 1.5 times 1 3/8. So therefore, we're going to calculate them each. This is going to have an area of 1. It's going to have an area of 1/2. This is going to have an area of 3/8. This is going to have an area of 1/2 times 3/8, which is going to be 3/16. So therefore, if I take those 4 numbers, 1 plus 1/2 plus 3/8 plus 3/16, and add them together, that will be equal to the product of 1.5 times 3/8. So bring your 1 down. You don't need it right away. Find your common denominator of, that's going to be a common denominator 24, I think. 16. Oh, that's 16, sorry. Common denominator 16. Add those all together. So this is going to be 8/16 and 6/16 and 3/16 added together is 17/16, which is 1 1/16. So we're going to bring that final answer down. Our A is 1. The rest are 1 1/16. So altogether, the area is going to be 2 1/16 when we add it up. So therefore, the area is going to be 2 1/16.